Hello, Serge here in the backyard driving range. All right, have a question that came into, this was actually, I believe, on Facebook. Now, I think that's what it says. And it comes from Wayne Dillon. And Wayne says, I am in my mid-60s, handicap of 20. I can hit all of my irons, even my 3, pretty good. Now, how good is that? Do you have any idea, Wayne, and all the rest of you guys, folks out there, that even on the PGA Tour, how many guys are carrying 3 irons now? There's almost, last I heard, there was only one guy, Kurt Madison, that was carrying a 2 iron back a few years ago. One, Kurt Madison. And his company was hoping to get him out of it because they wanted him to have what in his bag? Hybrids, all right? To help sell more hybrids. And there was only one carrying a 2 iron, and I think there's a lot of guys, even on the tour, that don't have a 3 iron. I'd be willing to bet there probably isn't, if there is one, that'd probably be all it is on the LPGA Tour. I mean, I think the majority, from what I hear, the majority of the LPGA Tour started about 6 iron down. They got a few with 5 irons. So here you are, you're hitting your 3 iron, which right now, according to years and years ago, is almost like what a weak 1 iron or a strong 2 iron would have been. All right? So that's why the long clubs are getting harder to build, because basically on the stats they had for loft 30 or 40 years ago, a 9 iron, or I should say a pitching wedge, is now about an 8 iron. So you wonder why people are hitting 8 irons so far, but they can't, pitching wedges so far now, and they've hit all the clubs longer, they just kept making them stronger and stronger, which is eventually gotten rid of, for most people, 5 iron up and replace them with hybrids, which are much easier to hit. But that's the big problem, and I'm going to come back and wait till I finish reading this before I give you what I was just going to say, and I decided to wait for the end. It says, but I hit even my 3 iron pretty good, but, there you come, there's the big but, all right? As soon as I try to hit my 3-wood or driver, everything goes hard right, no distance and all right. Nothing consistent with the contact. Sometimes I hit behind, but sometimes I will top the ball. This has been going on for years. I don't even carry a driver in my bag, and I just gave away my new 3-wood, so what, sounds like you're all irons, huh? I can hit my 3 iron 200 yards, but I sure would like to hit a driver or a 3-wood. Something changes when I put a long club in my hand. I don't have enough hair left for this. Please help. Thank you, Wayne. Okay, you just answered your own question right here, Wayne, because this is what I stopped myself from saying, and that's what I just wrote. You saw me writing here. You just said it. Something changes when I put a long club in my bag, in my hand. What I wrote down here was, up at the top, I wrote a note, but I'm going to preface it with this statement. I have been getting this for so many years now, this same question. Serge, I love your swing. I can hit all my irons great, but I can't hit my 3-wood in my driver. What am I doing wrong? I've heard that, and I've read it so many times. It's like it can drive me crazy. All right. Or the other side of the coin, I've heard it and read it so many times. If I got $1 for each one of them, I could probably retire right now. Okay. Here's my part of my pat answer. If you can hit majority of all your clubs good, but a few of them bad, and mostly it's always exactly like Wayne just said, the driver and the 3-wood. Every now and then somebody will throw in, well, I can't hit my 6 iron, or I can't hit my 8 iron worth a hoot, I can't hit my wedge, but I can hit all the other irons good. Here's my statement. It's not the Indian, it's the arrow. All right? I'll translate that. It's not you, the golfer, it's your equipment. And for most people, the problem with woods today is they are way, way, way too long. All right? The Surge driver in my bag right here is a meager 43 inches, and I got one that's 43 and a half. It's one or the other. Jack Nicklaus played his entire career when drivers were 43 inches, he was playing 42 and a half inches. When Tiger Woods first came out on the tour, he was playing a 43-inch steel driver, and everybody else was playing about 44 and a half, 45 and longer. All right? I don't know what he's playing now, but I'll bet you it isn't 43 and a half. Okay? And there's the problem. I mean, many guys on the tour are playing over 45 inches, but if you go look at the stats on the tour, most of those, I bet you better than 60% of the tour are 6 feet or taller. All right, but then you still got a lot of short guys out there too. But for most people, the driver and the 3-wood are way too long. You couldn't even hit them if you could stand up on a park bench to hit it. I mean, if you're under say 6 feet and you're trying to, and there's clubs there selling all you amateurs, they're saying, oh, a longer club hits the ball farther. Absolutely true. But, and this but's in all capital letters, capital B, capital T, with an exclamation point after it. If you can't swing it as fast and hit it as solid and as straight as a shorter club, you will not hit it farther. You will hit it more crooked and more offline and shorter. All right, and then I'm going to say, when you swing in a big super head, that they say, oh, you got a bigger sweet spot, and we put the sweet spot out towards the toe because most people come over the ball, come outside in over the ball, and you hit it on the toe. Well, those are more things adding to make the fact of swinging it and hitting it worse shots. Just think about it. They're telling you that a sweet spot is they could say, oh, we can make a bigger sweet spot. You can't. A sweet spot is a sweet spot is a sweet spot. It isn't much bigger than the top of a click pen. The click on the top of a pen. Or even sometimes some people say it's almost as small as the head of a ballpoint pen. Okay? So you can move it around, but you can't make it bigger. That's a lie. Just go look up the word sweet spot. It's a spot. A tiny, tiny spot. On a baseball bat. On a tennis racket. On a cricket bat. On a hockey stick. A spot. A little spot. So the farther you move that spot from the hosel, the way it gets away from the hosel, the harder it is to make that hosel turn and release the impact. So you can hit it square at impact, which will hit the ball better. So they're building clubs that they're designing them to help you hit bad shots, hit good shots with a bad swing. But what happens when you start trying to hit the ball better? And you are hitting the ball a little bit better. You can't take the stripes off the Tiger. Those built-in things to help for the club coming out over the top, to hit the ball on a toe and still feel relatively solid, is now hindering you squaring the club up. It's called rotation around the axis of rotation. The axis of rotation is the shaft. So the farther you move the weight away from the shaft, the more energy, speed it takes to get it to square up. You with me? So they're piling up their problems against you. All right? So for most golfers, it's too long. I once got so angry one day, way back when I first started doing this, like 6 years ago. I wrote, when I was still writing the answers, I wasn't videotaping them. I said, if your wife plays golf, take her drive. If you're over 60 years old, and your clubs are relatively new, in the last 5 years or newer, go out. If your wife plays golf, take her driver and 3-wood, go to the golf course, come back and tell me what happens. If your wife doesn't play, find somebody that you know who has the ladies' clubs that plays, or go to a driving range and take her, one of the free ladies' drivers, or go to your club and ask the pro if he's got some demo clubs that you could use and try to drive in ladies' driving 3-wood. Come back and tell me. Everybody came back, oh man, I never hit the ball so good. I can't believe how good I hit it. I had one guy come back and he said, thanks, Serge. I've been beating my buddies' brains out for the last 5 years because they're all playing these big, huge monster heads and 45-inch drivers, and I've been playing my wife's driver in 3-wood for the last 7 years. Thanks for giving away my secret. I answered him back, well, I didn't give it away. You just told him, and answering this for him. Okay? But clubs are too long, and the heads are too big. This is a 360cc head. Doc Griffin makes them. Alpha head. That's what's in my bag. 360 cc's. 43 and a half. It's one or the other. I got 2 of them. I even got one as low as 42 inches, and I hit drivers show as 42, which is my 3-wood. All my clubs are very, very short because I have really long arms despite my height. Okay? So that's the important thing about fitting. Now, very rarely does Doc Griffin or any of our fitters ever leave a senior golfer in a shaft over 44 inches unless they are hitting the ball solid consistently. The most important thing for hitting good shots is to swing it and be able to hit the ball solid, square on line, because that's the ultimate thing for distance. On, square and solid. You hear me say that all the time. That's the law of physics of impact. On, square and solid. So if you can do that with a long driver, so be it. But then again, you still got to be developing enough speed that's going to make a difference. That's why fitting is so important. But for 99% of golfers, especially seniors over 60 years old, and I'm certainly going to include women in this, and younger ladies, young girls and men and young boys. You're all playing too long of drivers if it's over 44 inches. I can almost emphatically, blatantly, boldly make that statement. So get to a Sing Surgeon certified fitter, get it checked. But if you really want to check it first, go out and find a ladies driver or ladies driver in 3-wood and go hit them. The heads are going to be smaller, and if you find a real old one, it's going to be as small as the old ones, and it's going to shock you how good you're hitting it. Okay? So check it out. I guarantee you, your problem is very likely, I would say 95% guaranteed, your driver in 3-wood are way too long. Especially when you can hit a 3-iron. Which would be what? Probably about the length of your average hybrid. Okay? So there you go. There's the answer. Get shorter clubs, and I bet you'll be able to start hitting a driver in 3-wood if you're making good swings with everything else. So that's today's memo to all you folks who can't hit the long clubs, but can hit the shorter ones. Get the right length, and you'll see the improvements. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.